Good morning and welcome to the VSA Morning Miner. It's Friday, the 5th of May, ahead of Coronation Weekend. Paul, how are you and what are you planning to do to celebrate?
We've got birthday to celebrate here. My youngest actually is turning 18 on Saturday, so that's the bigger deal in my household at this point. So,
Very good. Well, happy birthday. Right, there's quite a bit of news out there. Should we start with the precious metals stories? As there's actually Q1 figures out from the World Gold Council as well. That actually shows that in Q1, gold demand was down 13% year on year, but it's worth highlighting that comparing directly, that period last year had the start of the Russia-Ukraine crisis, and much of the recent strong performances gold is back weighted into the very end of this year's Q1 and into Q2. The key points in there, investment demand was down, driving that performance, but central bank demand was still very strong. 83 tons was up 176% year on year. That was the big supporter of performance. And jewelry demand was still muted. Obviously, China's reopening only just beginning there, and Indian demand hampered by higher prices. But obviously, the investment outlook now looks pretty strong for the rest of the year. So, with that, I think there's some news out from Wheaton and Goldplat.
yes, both of those. On the other hand, showing on year-on-year comparables, well down on precious metals production for them. In Wheaton's case, it's down circa 30% on revenues and earnings. First quarter came in at 214 million in revenue, 135 million in operating cash flow, and 111 million in net earnings. Cash balance left them at that time of $800 million, and there is no debt on the books at this time as of the 31st of March. And they have $2 billion worth of revolving credit facilities available to them in order to draw upon to do deals if they find more royalties to acquire on very good projects, which I suspect they will continue to do. So the 5-year annual, they have gone to reporting 5-year annuals and 10-year annual statements in a forward forecast from the royalties that they have in inventory, such that they think that they'll produce 810,000 gold equivalent ounces within or by 5 years out from now. So it's definitely still a growth story, but it is a little bit, I would say, disappointing that they had such a disappointing year-on-year comparable quarter for Wheaton. In Goldplat's case, you get to see just exactly what the impact is on a company that is trying to maintain its operational performance in the face of these power cuts in South Africa. Goldplat having numbers with combined operating profit for the quarter of 1.47 million sterling, which is 36% down in Q3 of the previous period, which was at 2.23 million sterling. Combined operating profit for the 9 months was down by 20% at 4.8 million sterling. And operating performance showed that in Africa that was down by 500,000 pounds, which is roughly a third, and even more so in Ghana. So they are making progress with their construction on their TSF facility, but they have said that they will need to expend or gain funds for another 1.2 million sterling in the next 9 to 15 months for various operational issues in order to complete the TSF. And they are considering seriously now putting in diesel gen sets as backup power because of all the curtailments they have from Eskom in South Africa.
Yeah, it's tricky operating in South Africa for sure. News out from Cleantech Lithium, I think mostly summarizing activity in the year with some year-end financials. Any comments there?
With Cleantech Lithium, I would say they did manage to raise 18 million sterling in the calendar year of 2022, and they do have quite a bit of corporate performance going on. It IPO'd on AIM during the year. It's considering a secondary listing as well for the ASX in coming months. And they spent about 4.5 million in exploration, so they're definitely a company on the move. So with a PFS underway at Laguna Verde, started in March and due to be completed by the end of this year. So keeping a close eye on that one because they aren't resting on their laurels, that's for sure.
Very good. Okay. Anything else, Paul?
Really do have to mention this statement that came out on the new resource estimate by TSX listed Clean Air Metals. They had warned the market a number of weeks ago that there was a major QP, qualified person error, in the estimate of tonnage and grade for their Thunder Bay project, the two-channel hosted nickel PGM deposits they have down there. And the new resource estimate essentially has confirmed that. And unfortunately, the combined lower volume and lower grade both means it looks like about 50% less contained metal is actually defined by drilling at this point in time. We'll run a new PEA now just to see how far off they might be from actually having a mine worth developing at this point.
Okay, well, want to follow closely there. Thanks, Paul. Enjoy a long bank holiday and celebrating your daughter's birthday. We'll be back next week.
Very good. We'll see you then.